I'm back, noobs! Did you miss me? I haven't posted in 4 months because, well, things aren't going so great. To catch you up, I put together a new intro song to cover the highlights.
I started doing management at 47th Street. It was going pretty smoothly till the lawsuits started. Wait. Then I slipped a disc, investors pulled out cause of risk. My business partner left and quit. I fired my super.
He caught COVID.
Whitey has no future properties. I'm pivoting the company. And now this channel's technically just hey!
Okay, that's a lot to throw at you all at once, especially if this is the first video of mine you're watching. For more context, we put together an investment thesis for net zero energy, modern style lakefront vacation homes in upstate New York. I even put together a private pitch video to get some of the early investors on board. We hunted for sites for close to 9 months, going through close to 100 parcels and narrowing it down to 4. One of our offers got accepted, and then everything unraveled. And this isn't the first time we've lost a deal. We've had a deal drought for 21 months, and multiple deals slipped through our fingers. If a real estate developer doesn't constantly have a deal pipeline, then it's kinda hard to justify keeping things going. And to be totally transparent, I'm in a really tough spot right now. So as I'm taking a few months to figure out what's next, I'm sharing some lessons learned from this failure. Today's lesson is all about the difficulty of fundraising. A lot of you have asked in the comments about how to raise money on your first deal. It's arguably the hardest part of real estate development because nothing will happen without funding in place. When it comes to sourcing capital, there are a few immutable truths that, if you ignore them, will inevitably result in failure. Let's look at this really simply. You want to buy a property. The money's going to come from a mix of number 1, you, and number 2, not you. If it's 100% you, you don't have any problem sourcing capital. Stop watching, but hit like and subscribe before you leave. But chances are, there is a non-zero amount in the not you portion of your cap stack. And the most common sources that are not you are friends and family, institutional equity, and banks. Immutable truth number 1. If you're just starting out and you don't have a lot of capital or a wealthy network, you're going to have a really hard time sourcing capital. You will get discouraged and you might quit because you are a really small fish in a really big pond. You are not special. In fact, deal flow sits on a power law distribution where a small handful of best-in-class developers and asset managers get most of the deals, and everyone else is fighting for scraps. On top of that, people who are not you have tons of investment options out there, including non-real estate stuff like crypto and stocks. Immutable truth number 2. In the beginning, friends and fam are your best and maybe your only chance. You may have to shrink your first deal to such a tiny size that you can't actually earn enough fees to pay for a development company's operating expenses. Don't expect to start a company and hire people day 1. YD didn't hire an employee until a year into operations. Immutable truth number 3. You need a track record in the asset class you're trying to build. I didn't have a track record in single-family homes, even though it's hands down easier to build than ground up in Manhattan, where Yuri and I do have a track record. Makes sense, right? Doesn't matter. Investors pushed back. Investment analysts at family offices need to cover their ass if an investment goes south. And if they audit the due diligence performed on sponsor and see, we chose YD over Blackstone because they made a convincing argument. Well, someone at that family office is gonna get fired. Immutable truth number 4. It takes a long time to build a track record because your projects don't count until you exit. And if you're trying to establish yourself as a developer, you're probably pursuing larger deals that take 3 to 7 years each. That's why real estate is a generational game. Due to COVID, I haven't been able to exit a deal yet, so technically none of my projects count to institutional investors. Immutable truth number 5. You need a good deal. This should be obvious. If the numbers make no sense or the risk-return profile is objectively worse than other deals out there, who's going to invest? Okay, that wraps up this failure lesson for today. Plenty more to come because the depth and breadth of this failure is a gift that keeps on giving, if I consider stress to be a gift. But also in terms of lessons learned, which translates to content for you guys. Stay curious, noobs.